right here in front of me are all kinds of different bullets, different shapes, different sizes, different cartridges, different diameters, and all of these happen to say they're really good for deer hunting. But is that actually true? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of different cartridges and calibers, and I'm going to be telling you guys which ones are actually good at deer hunting and which ones people say are good for deer hunting but actually aren't. And then at the end, I'm going to be taking a look at my top 5 if you guys are thinking about getting one yourself. This is an interesting subject, but it's actually pretty simple. And it truly all comes into this. When you're deer hunting, your objective is to simply disrupt the important parts of the deer. That's going to be the heart, the lungs, and the blood vessels that are close by. With that being said, very simply, all you're looking for your bullet to do is to accurately get on target and then disrupt the target. That's precision, accuracy, and then damage. But out of all these calibers here, which one's actually the best for deer hunting? Because every single one of these packages has a deer on the box. And by golly, if it's got a deer on the box, it's got to be the magic bullet, right? But we all know marketing here. Just because something has a deer on the box does not mean it can kill a deer. But I will say this, in bullets, I kind of do think it is that way. Every single one of these bullets is rated for deer hunting, and every single one of these bullets has killed a lot of deer. Realistically, if you hit a deer with this bullet, which is, what is this? A 300 PRC, a stinking Magnum. Keep in mind, the only part that comes out whenever you're shooting an animal is this right here, like the copper part. It's the bullet part. But at the end of the day, whether it's this copper part that goes flying through a deer out of this 300 PRC, or this copper part going out of a 300 Blackout, the deer is gonna die. Both of them. But there's a pretty big difference here. This one has a deer on the box. This one has a deer on the box. Where's the line at? Which one's actually the best? And I know it can be super confusing because there is so many stinking options. And this is not all of them. Here, let's just knock over a few bullets and see. This one's 7.62 by 39. That's the AK-47 round. This cartridge was meant to kill people, but it'll kill deer too. Let's move on down. Boom. What we got here? This is the 243. Absolute legend of a bullet. Right here, what's this? This is a SIG 277 Fury, one of the hot new special new looking rounds or something. It'll kill deer too. What about this big fat one? Ooh, what about this big fat one? 4570 Government. Kills deer all the time. That can even kill a buffalo, buddy. About made them go extinct. Let's scoot on down. What about some of these bigger bullets with pointy tips? What's this one? I believe this one's a 300 Win Mag. No. 300 Remington Ultra Mag. Absolute cannon. And this one will also kill every deer it hits in the vitals. Because here's what it comes down to, guys. No matter what color tip it has, no matter how fast it's going, no matter how big the piece of metal is, as long as it can get inside the vitals of the deer and mess them up, the deer gonna die. You know what I mean? Now, before we get into specific calibers, I'll tell you 2 things that I do think about that matter of bullets. If I'm recommending bullets to you, I would end it about right here. So I wouldn't want to go much smaller than that. Smaller than that, maybe something like a 22 Magnum. I think in a lot of states, this one's illegal to use anyway, so you don't want to use that. I do believe that one's a little small. Then there's a really popular one. This is the 223 or 5.56 shot out of most ARs. Don't get me wrong, you can kill deer with this, but you don't have as much forgiveness. You've got to get it perfect, but you don't have as much forgiveness when you're shooting this round. And that actually brings us into the second thing you do need to think about, and it's the bullet itself. So I personally wouldn't, if you're looking for a deer gun, I wouldn't recommend the 223, but if all you have is a 223 and you want to take a deer hunting, you can do it. But this next part's going to be very important. And it's actually the bullet part, the part that does fly out. You see, in my lineup here, you can see different tips. Some of them's got silver on top. Some of them don't have nothing. Some of them's got a little hole. Some of them's got plastic tips. Let's start off with this, the AK-47 round. This is a full metal jacket. This is what you do not want to hunt with at all. Will it kill a deer? Absolutely. But the thing with this bullet is that it's just a simple solid bullet. It's just a piece of metal, boom, it goes through whatever it hits. But that right there is as big as the hole is going to be. That's quite small. It's not really great for doing a lot of damage. Usually the full metal jackets are illegal to hunt with anyway, so you don't want to do that. Let's step it over to something like this, which is a hollow point, or even something like this, which is pretty much a hollow point, but it's just filled in with a softer metal to help it fly better. This is a great bullet for hunting because as the bullet goes in, it's going to smash, it's going to expand, and now your bullet that starts off that big may end up being that big by the time it pops out, which is really good for hunting. Since a big part of hunting is once it hits the target to do a lot of damage. So if your bullet goes in and spreads out, it's going to tear up more stuff as it goes through. So a hollow point or a soft point, good for hunting. Now let's look at one of these pretty tips over here with the plastic. This is simply a hollow point, except the hollow point is filled in with plastic to make it fly better. That's all it is. We call those polymer tips because it's polymer as the tip, but it does the same thing as a hollow point. It just flies a little bit better downrange with aerodynamic and stuff. But if you're not shooting super far away, it doesn't matter that far. Super far away being about 250 yards or further, and even further, which most shots are under that, well under that. Now let me talk about this. You're going to see this right here, and it has a very small hollow point. For this, you're going to have to look at the box a little bit. But here's the box for this ammo. Whatever, the brand, whatever. But what's important here is match grade ammo. Match grade, what that really means is that this is made to shoot targets. It's made to shoot matches with. Now, if that big old bullet flies through a target, it's gonna kill it. It will. But when you're shooting match grade bullets, it's simply made to hit the target. It's not designed for after it hits a target. With a hunting bullet, on the other hand, even one of the soft points, it's made to hit your target and then spread out, but stay together. And stay together, that way it holds its momentum and carry on through so that you get an exit. That's what a hunting bullet's supposed to do. Hit your target, expand, but not explode. The match ammo, it's only built to hit the target, because usually in a match, you're just shooting a piece of paper or a piece of metal. They don't really worry about what happens after that. And what happens a lot of times is when you shoot a match bullet into an animal, it hits your target, which is great, most important part, and then it expands and explodes, which a lot of times does a ton of damage, but it may not carry enough momentum to come out the other side, be a full pass-through, which gives you a good blood trail. Now, I've killed a lot of deer with these match ammo, but if you're going for a really important animal, I would say try to get better bullets. But once again, hey, if that's all you got, use it. If Full Metal Jacket's all you got, buy different ammo, because this is not very good for hunting. It's okay, it'll kill it, but you may not find it because you need blood to find it somehow. Now, with that being said, that's the basics. No matter what gun you have, and even a 223 can be made to kill deer, but as long as it's bigger than a 223, bam, you got a lot of options, and there's not very much people can say. They'll say one's better than the other, but at the end of the day, right back to this. If your bullet hits the vitals and then damages the vitals, the deer gonna die. Indians be killing them with sticks and stones, okay? I'm pretty sure you can do it with any of these bullets. Alright, but now if I had to choose, here we go. I'm wrapping all these bullets up. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to do that. I ment to pick out my top 5. Dang. Alright, hold up. Top 5. I think I can look at them and see them. Number 5. These are in no particular order at all. I'm going 30-06, okay? Look here, boys. Where's my 30-06 at? Super old, 30-06. It's an old rifle. The reason I picked this one, because there's a lot of them out in the world. And your old grandpa's rifle, it's a good chance it's 30-06. It'll kill everything it hits, by golly. Now, of course, you got to hit the right spot. You can shoot one with, what is this? A 338 Lapua Magnum. You shoot one in the elbow with a 338 Lapua Magnum, call it tripod. It's still alive, though. But 30-06, it's super available. There's a lot of them out there. Solid. I like it. Moving on to number 4, I'm going with an interesting one. 300 Win Mag. This is a big one, okay? And I guess the whole idea here is, man, that's a big old bullet, especially considering that bullet kills deer too. But I think the reason I picked this one is just to go and show, is overkill a real thing? I mean, I probably wouldn't shoot one with a 50 cal. That's ironic because I already have. But that was more of a test. Here's what's crazy though. I've shot a deer with a 50 cal. I've shot a deer with a 243. The one I shot with a 50 cal blew a hole in it that big on both sides. Ran further than one I shot with a small bullet like a 243. That just goes to show how unpredictable it is. It's really hard to predict. But at the end of the day, I hit the vitals on both the animals. They both died really fast. Now, I'm not saying there's a big difference, but I guess the reason I picked 300 Win Mag is just to go for these bigger calibers. Is there such thing as overkill? You know what? Not really. Because it all comes down to this. I know, I feel like I've said that 100 times, but it really does. And I do think you can overcomplicate it. Because in the gun world, there is people literally arguing. You see these two? I'm going to move them fast. That there is a huge difference and that one of these is extremely better than the other. There's people that argue that. And I'm shaking them because you can't tell there's a difference until you really look and you really look. There is such a small difference between these two, which is actually on the list coming up. I'll talk about it right in a minute. 300 Win Mag, is there such thing as overkill? Not really. There is a trade-off because the bigger the bullet, boom, it's going to shake you a little bit. Honestly, probably not the best for beginners. Number 3, 2, and 1 is what I would suggest for beginners, with number 3 being this one right here, the 243. It's a small, light, agile bullet. It's a small 100 grain projectile going pretty fast. But this caliber 243, it doesn't kick that bad, and it kills deer, especially if you hit them where you're supposed to. It's pretty simple, 243. I believe it's this box right here. Simple. There's 300 Win Mag. Pretty simple. Now we're moving on to number 1 and number 2. I'm going 6.5 Creedmoor and 308. People argue these all day long, but whenever you look at them side by side and look at them down the front and look at the deer, here's 2 pictures of deer. They're both dead, so that's good. If we're going straight up pros and cons of 308 versus 6.5 Creedmoor, 308 has a little more mass when it's flying. It can kind of go through brush a little bit better. The 6.5 Creedmoor is a little flatter shooting, so at distance it drops a little less. The recoil's a little less, so it may be better for a small shooter. Whenever I say little bit, I'm talking little bit, not much at all. But if I had to pick one personally, I'm going with the 6.5 Creedmoor. Why? I don't know, man. There's a pile of bullets here that kill deer. I don't think you got to get too deep into reasoning. As long as you take one of these bullets, get good to where you can hit where you want to with it, and pick the right tip so that it does damage when it hits, all these are really good at deer hunting. But hey, you can't go wrong with a 6.5. It's got a picture of deer on the box. No, but for real, there's a lot of really good deer hunting calibers. Literally all of these can and will and has killed deer. Interesting, ain't it? Indians killed them with rocks and sticks. If you want to learn more about deer hunting, click right over here. Or how to shoot and load a bolt action rifle, click right over here.